Hi everyone, and welcome to the Dear Abby Dolliver Show. I'm Superintendent Abby Dolliver from Norwich Public Schools, and we welcome our guests today. We are going to have the topic of magnet schools, a very, very exciting topic and theme, I'll call it, for our public schools. So I'll start with you, Mr. Fain. Introduce yourself and tell us your role with us.
Sure, Abby, thank you. My name is Scott Fain. I'm the principal at Wequonnoc Arts and Technology Magnet School.
Thanks.
I'm Becky Pellerin. I'm the principal of Moriarty Environmental Sciences Magnet School. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
I'm Jessie Wraichette. I'm the art teacher at Wequonnoc Arts and Technology Magnet School.
Thank you, Jessie.
Hello, I'm Erin Conley. I'm the magnet theme coach at Moriarty Environmental Sciences Magnet School.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessie Crandall. I'm first grade teacher at the Moriarty Environmental Science Magnet School.
Thank you, Jessie.
And I'm Samantha Cholewa, grade 4 teacher at Wequonnoc Arts and Technology Magnet School.
Thank you, Samantha. Well, we have we are very fortunate to have two magnet schools in Norwich, and we're going to talk a little bit today about the history. How did that come to be? And so I'll ask you various questions, and then what each of your roles are in those magnet schools. It's been an exciting, challenging, I would say, time for us in integrating our magnet schools into our regular work. So who would like to answer the question, maybe one of you, our principals, what is a magnet school anyway? People may not know that.
Well, a magnet school is a public school of choice. The important thing to remember, it is a public school, and our goal is to create a theme-based learning environment that engages children, because we believe engaged children will learn more and be more interested in their learning through integrating it with the world around them. Our theme happens to be environmental sciences. Magnet schools also, another goal of magnet schools is to increase diversity. Magnet schools are intended to increase diversity so that schools within a district are reflective of the area that they exist in.
Thanks. Mr. Fain, talk a little bit about how Wequonnoc School became, or thought about even becoming a magnet school.
Approximately 4 years ago now, we had the NEXT committee, which one of its roles was to redesign Norwich Public Schools for the future. And one of the things that came out of that committee was the desire for the board to begin offering some level of choice, as Mrs. Pellerin spoke about. And quite honestly, well, we were all generating different ideas of what we wanted to do in the future, and we kind of took the lead from Moriarty with the success that they had when they pursued their model. And I think we all started looking at those possibilities with Learn, and Learn put our both schools into the possibility for the Peace Grant. And I think it all kind of generated from there. And we've learned quite a bit from Moriarty, actually, from the success they had, and a variety of site visits that we did to other magnet schools around the state, and developed our own model based on the work that Moriarty had done and some of the other magnet schools that we visited.
Was yours similar on how the idea kind of came, like a light bulb? Moriarty, we need to do something different. Let's do something different.
And it was that type of experience, like a light bulb type of experience. And it goes to one of our Board of Ed meetings. I know New London Public Schools came to present, and I've been aware of the NEXT findings and the need for choice. But an assistant superintendent, I believe, from New London Public Schools, and the principal of the Winthrop STEM Academy came. And they were telling the board about their experience in New London, and all I remember is sitting there and thinking to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could offer that to our children? And I was thinking, of course, just of Moriarty, because that was my school.
Right.
I had a hard time letting go of that idea, and then I did share it with you, Mrs. Dolliver, and you were very supportive. At that point, we asked some questions of Doreen Marvin at Learn and brought it back to the staff, and it just took off in a very kind of grassroots fashion, and the staff really embraced it, and kind of we worked together to come up with a theme. So it was very exciting.
So go now to the next step about the theme. So there's numbers of different magnet schools with different themes. So how did Moriarty land where you are?
I think that we had I had noticed it because I was my first year at Moriarty at that point. I had noticed that the staff was really engaged in things that had to do with the environment. We had a school garden. We had people who also were very interested in maintaining health. And we kind of integrated the idea of environmental sciences and taking care of ourselves, and that's evident through our tagline, which is making mindful choices for ourselves, our environment, and our world. So it's kind of being stewards of ourselves, our environment, and our world, and finding ways to make a difference. And then to add the science component, we thought everyone became very excited about. But it was really a terrific experience because we really didn't know what we would do. And then we did visit schools just like Mr. Fain and his staff did, and really at that point zeroed in on the whole idea of environmental science.
Because I remember, discussions about all the different areas of interest, because it's so vast, the different areas that you might think of. And then with each exploration, you kind of honed in on and landed where you are, which has been very successful. What about Wequonnoc's theme, Mr. Fain?
I think our settling in was quite a bit different. I had always noticed the degree of support and interest that parents had in student performance and in the arts, and in fact, phenomenal turnout when our families got an opportunity to see their families perform. When we began examining magnet models, there was kind of really two different schools of thought, and that is highly specialized magnet schools, like a performing arts school you might think of, and a lot of TV on performing arts schools. And some of the names of the shows escape me, but other magnet schools kind of gave a broad overview of the arts, and that's kind of what we settled in on. And certainly the schools that we visited, other elementary schools, did that. More specialized schools in Hartford for performing arts as an example of a more extreme. But we, as a staff, focused in on that, where we would provide overviews of various types of both performing, musical arts, band, all types of visual arts, and so that became the model that we looked at. As far as focusing in on our work, we really wanted to try and integrate this across classrooms as opposed to more work in isolation. Most of the work, of course, throughout the district is focused in on unified arts, really teachers and kids getting really one class in art per week. And our integrated model allows us to really explore that in detail.
That's great. Did you have something else?
I thought too, we were looking for something where we could impact the children, not just while they were at Moriarty, but something that eventually could change the way that they approach many things in life, and could impact, have an impact beyond their own lives and their families. So
in the world,
yeah.
as it says in your...
Yeah, so I think, and that was something we were able to rally around.
That's
so
great.
Different paths, but brought us to something that we all feel very passionate about as a staff and entire community.
And that I know, how much the staff has worked to adopt the themes and the models and the extra work to integrate that into our regular curriculum, and we're going to get into that. So if you could think for a moment about what makes your school unique, one thing that you could tell the audience, and something special about the last few years, what might that be?
I think for us, it would be just that learning looks different. It just is more hands-on and project-based. And we have many things in our school are similar to Norwich Public Schools as a whole.
Right.
A reading workshop, writing workshop, but we work really hard to integrate reading and writing into science and vice versa in math. But going into a classroom, into a science class, and seeing kids identifying fossils or trying to determine how to build a structure that would withstand winds, things like that. And it's just exciting.
It's kind of the next step
yes,
in their thinking.
And really seeing themselves as engineers and being able to engage in that process, even though they're second, third, or fourth graders in school, but understanding that they're going through the same process that an engineer would in any engineering field for a profession. It's just exciting. It's a different way of looking at teaching and learning.
That's great.
I'm going to respond to that, kind of qualify this in that one of the things that is, having been a public school person for going almost 30 years now, was very different for us. For me personally, was developing our model to be very different than other people, where most of the time in public school, we're very cooperative and work with other people and set ourselves apart. And to set ourselves apart, I think it's been very application-based, where we're really focusing in on, not just when we started out, it was arts and technology, but with this money came the expectation that we follow the STEAM model, which is science, technology, engineering, as Becky alluded to, arts, and mathematics. And so we're finding lots of different ways to what that might look like and giving teachers a wide open way of kind of exploring that. But I kind of get a little concerned because it's we've almost become somewhat competitive, and I try to talk to parents about that we can offer you a great experience if these things appeal to your child, but there's still great things going on in all other schools in Norwich, and it might just be a different experience for you.
Different choice.
Right.
So now we're going to talk to the teachers about that.
Sure. Through a classroom teacher perspective, just hearing all of your thoughts, I was thinking to myself, even comparing last year to this year, my attendance in my classroom has been amazing.
Your
My
attendance.
students want to be there. My students love being there. They want to use all of the visual arts and the music, and they want to learn through technology, and they want to use more technology. They want to use it when they go home. They want to teach their parents about it. A big difference.
What was different for you in planning or being, teaching in a magnet school?
Sure.
And then Jessie, you could add to that.
Sure. This is my second full year, and I was hired through magnet schools. My student teaching experiences and substitute teaching, I was in normal public schools, and I find it more fun, more engaging to teach, to plan this way. And through my passion, I feel like my students feel more passion in wanting to be there and wanting to learn.
That's great.
So.
What about you? What did it mean to you to transition from Moriarty before to Moriarty after, or wherever?
Well, I feel like it's really authentic learning, and instead of coming from the top, from me to them, it's more of bringing out what their questions are. What are you wondering? What are you thinking? And it's more about, it's not necessarily the right or wrong answer, although there may or may be one. The idea is, what is your thinking? And how did you come around to that? And how could you prove it? So to me, it's more of a life learning experience. It applies at all levels. As they go up, that's something they should be able to know. What do I want to know from this? What else can I learn? And what does that make me question about? And how can I find that out? We talk about evidence. How can you prove that? Where can you find information?
So I guess for me, I'm going to challenge you a little bit. So it's about good teaching, because in any of our schools you've had different opportunities with the theme, so it's more focused, laser focused, other resources that other schools may not have. But when you talk about authentic learning, questioning, challenging, that's good instruction. But then you add the theme to it and the focus for each of your schools. So was there any special training or anything that you needed in order to be able to integrate all that? Either or both of you.
I was
Go ahead,
very
Samantha.
fortunate coming in. Last year is my first year, and I went to North Carolina to the MSA, Magnet Schools of America conference, and my mind was blown away going to different magnet schools, seeing what they were doing, going with my iPad, taking thousands of pictures, having so many ideas to bring back and to use. That I'm going to the National Science Conference this year in Tennessee. So many opportunities for us to learn professionally, personally.
As part of the funding for the magnet schools. So
Yeah.
that is, you can say it's a benefit, but it is, but you need that in order to know more, to teach what you have to teach in the way you do. Anything
Right.
you want to add to that?
No, very similar experience. We've had fantastic coaches and resource people within our building, and then sent off to trainings, green school training, and many other things where we've gotten to get out into other schools and visit other gardens and see how other teachers are doing it. It's been really a tremendous learning experience to learn from other teachers in other schools as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
We learn best from each other.
We do.
That's what I would say, too. Do you think the typical day is different in your school than our other schools? you know, we have 5 other elementary schools. What might be different about your day?
Well, I think for us, because we have the science focus, that really kind of ties into a lot of what we're doing in the all of Norwich does the Readers Writers Workshop, but that's such a wonderful vehicle for the kind of learning that we're doing. And then when you have the engineering design process and that whole process of thinking and planning and creating and then redesigning, rethinking what you already know or what you think you know, and then coming to different conclusions and adding information. So to me, I think that's learning about that whole process as engineers applies to all kinds of learning. So that piece, I think, you know, would be great if everyone could do that because it's pretty amazing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have a separate integration block where I can focus on the visual, musical, technology portion of our magnet school, but I actually integrate throughout the entire day in all of my subjects, so it's pretty seamless now. And what I was planning last year, I rolled into this year, and then this year I could plan even more, and we're learning all day long with our magnet theme.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I always look, in my mind, I'm visual, so I always look for some kind of metaphor visually for what, you know, a lot of times it's keeping all the balls in the air to do everything, but this is not that. It is that too, but it's some other kind of thing. I don't know. I need an artist to design it. So now we look to our coaches for a couple of things. And, you know, you're teaching and coaching. You have a dual role. What do you see as the benefits, Jessie, to having a magnet school?
I think it's great to be able to offer students a choice. If students excel in the arts, if students excel in science or engineering, to be able to offer them a more specialized education so that it benefits them and it suits their needs and likes. I think that's key. If it keeps them interested in education as well, I think it's a great opportunity for students.
Erin, did you want to add anything to that?
Sure, I'm going to actually jump back to your visual.
Okay,
The
good.
visual I like to think of when you think of magnet schools is a puzzle, and you have all of those puzzle pieces within a school, and the magnet theme is really that glue that binds all of those pieces together. So it's interwoven in between
I like
everything.
puzzle piece metaphors.
So
Yes.
just that's the metaphor I tend to think of it as.
Good. That's good.
And in terms of another benefit, I think especially for Norwich, being an intra-district school,
Can you explain that? 'Cause some
sure.
people know.
So there's 2 types of magnet schools. There's intra-district and inter-district. And intra-district schools, what Norwich has, where it services any student within the Norwich district, school district. An inter-district magnet school would service students within its district and outside its district as well. And being that we're an intra-district, I think another great benefit is Norwich's transiency. It definitely has addressed that, where students can move within the district and yet still attend the same school. And that definitely helps with the consistency of their education as well.
So you spoke to really about the intra-district, and our students tend to move a lot. That's just the way life is. So that does help because they can stay put, which I would wish for all of our students to be able to stay put. So that's one of our goals. So talk about your theme and how you integrate it maybe a little bit.
Well, at Wequonnoc, we have a number of different integration strategies, or really different ways that the theme is brought out within the school. The first way is as to what Sam was speaking to, and that's the integration of the arts and technology woven into the NPS curriculum. So as Sam had mentioned, teachers weave in arts and technology throughout the day.
So weaving means they are teaching math, but they might be teaching technology skills or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So with a specific concept.
Got it.
Yes. So there's that aspect. Another aspect is we have the Unified Arts teachers, myself, Mrs. Engelhart, and Mrs. Millard, the technology teacher. All of us are there full time, and with our scheduling, when what we are able to offer the students as far as what we have are called electives, That's a whole nother magnet piece that is makes us extremely unique to any other school in Norwich. We also have band. We have grade 4 and 5 band, which is also unique to the elementary schools. And we have our STEAM Adventures program, which brings in community partners every week to work with specific grades.
It's great, great opportunities. Did you want to talk about what Moriarty has?
Sure. Similar, although we call them a little bit different names. But we also have,
Right.
similar to the STEAM Adventures, we have our EAP, our Environmental Explorer program, and that's where we bring in community partners as well around the environmental STEM theme. And they come on a weekly basis and work with each grade level.
Talk a little bit about, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Sure.
but I want to know, when we talk about community partners, certainly as a district, one of our district goals is to engage the community. Our families and our community, you have a real defined way to do that, or reason to do that. So talk about who some of those partners might be and how you do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, and I will use the Environmental Explorer program
Okay.
as the vehicle to explain that.
Okay.
So we have, as partners within that, Mystic Aquarium, Connecticut Science Center, Denison Pequot Sepos Nature Center, Connecticut Audubon, and New England Science and Sailing, which we call NESS, all of which whom are very involved in that program. And how it works is I meet with each one of the project directors, and they create a curriculum. Well, collaboratively, we create a curriculum based around our scope and sequence and our content within science. Typically, although we do stretch into some of the other engineering practices as well. And after we've created that, they come in and they do the programming. However, in addition, we've actually been very fortunate where two of them, it's been wildly successful, so they've actually helped secure funding to continue this program beyond our magnet funding. So they act as a financial resource as well, a community resource. I know that they often put Moriarty's name forward to other schools to call about programming as well. So it's multifaceted.
That's great. You know, we talk about funding. Norwich relies a lot on grants. That's how we get a lot of the enriching opportunities such as this that we afford to our students. So I guess when I think about it, grants run out generally, the funding part. But man, you've learned so much, and we have things, we have instruments, let's say, we have a tech lab, we have ways in which to bring our students in to benefit from this. So let's say the funding isn't there specific to do other things. How do we maintain that? How do we sustain this excitement in order to keep things moving? What are your ideas about that? You want to say?
Just like to qualify one other thing, and that is this, what we refer to as our STEAM Adventures and what they call environmental explorers. That was just another idea that we stole from Moriarty. So
Okay.
to give them full credit,
There
and
you
it is
go.
working out very nicely. To your point, Abby, I think we've certainly learned a lot from all the great people that we've met. But the STEAM model has kind of allowed us a wide range of different possibilities. Just today I met with we just switched some of our STEAM Adventures to a gentleman named Mike Kachuba, who I actually knew. He's a Connecticut folk singer, and I actually had some of his music, so I was in the presence of some greatness. But just today, chatting with him, he's exploring with, I don't get the name of his organization correct, because we're just switching to work with some of them, the Connecticut Art Association. I'm probably getting the name of the organization incorrect, but he's already promised us some grant money, similar to what Erin's talking about, and going to pursue additional funding.
So that's what we do. Yeah.
Right. So it's just kind of networking and coming up with those other possibilities. But there's no way around some of the things that we would lose. The Peace Grant provided us with $1.1 million, and with Moriarty with a bit more. But some of that, of course, is into some staffing. Some of that is into some programmatic things. But a lot of the technology and the equipment that we've been able to buy won't need replacement for a while. So, of course, that's what we're hoping, is that we can figure out ways to keep some of the people
Right.
and some of the programming that the grant, of course, wouldn't be able to sustain.
And we can't take away your knowledge and your excitement and that of the students, so that continues it. That's an automatic.
I was just going to, can I
Yes.
add a minute?
Yes.
So in terms of sustainability too, but we're fortunate enough to have had much time to work on the curriculum. So as you put it, we've integrated the curriculum and that's a staple. That's going to always be there. But in addition to that too, in terms of sustainability, there's lots as we're looking forward to the next few years that you can continue to sustain with little to no cost if just by looking at the structures we have in place and thinking outside the box.
That's great. I think so, too. I know so. I know we can. So if I were a parent and I'm listening to, wow, I don't live in your attendance zone, as we call it, for Wequonnoc or Moriarty, but my student would really benefit from one of these things. What do I do? How do I give my student that opportunity? Do any of you want to speak to the lottery, the lottery, or any of that?
I can.
Okay.
Or you can.
You know the process inside and out, so I defer to you,
Okay,
Ms. Conley.
So basically, you'd go to Norwich Public Schools website. On either one of the websites from either Moriarty or Wequonnoc, there's an Apply Now button.
On the front, on the main page
Right.
of our website.
Oh, yes, it's on the main
Yes.
page as well. So just clicking there, you can and put in an application. You can certainly choose whatever school interests you, or both, if you want to take a double shot at that, at getting into the lottery. The application deadline is March 31st. The lottery will be held shortly thereafter, and notifications should go out.
April 6th, I believe, is the lottery.
Yes.
And notifications will go out by the end of April. So just for parents' knowledge, we have to limit class size, obviously. So we have what I'll call caps. I don't love that word, but for class size. So students who are already there get to stay, and siblings get kind of a benefit. People who live in the attendance zone get a benefit. So we would, we have to wrap up in a minute, but so we would encourage parents to at least apply if they have any interest. And then they can make a determination after. We also have discovery nights
Yes.
where you can come and view all the wonderful things that happen, and they will be posted on the website too.
Families are always welcome to visit. We have some families that can't make some of our Discovery Day times, and so they come by for a short visit. We try to provide them a tour and discuss why it might be beneficial for them to apply.
That's great.
Or simply call the school, and we can give out information. We can send out paper applications. It doesn't have to be a website application. So a simple call
Okay.
is terrific too.
I know the excitement that goes on. I've been to some of the events at both schools. Students are engaged and excited, but it's because of the work that you all do, so and your colleagues. So I appreciate that on behalf of the district, but I know that the students benefit from it, and that's really why we do it. Is there any last words that anybody would like to say? Oh, no, you can't, because I have to wrap up. Thank you for your work and your commitment to it. I know we're going to continue funding or not. Our magnet models will continue. And thank you to our students from the 6th grade academy at Teachers Memorial for being in our audience. One of these sessions, they're going to be up here on the panel helping me. And thank you to our studio audience for watching. We'll see you next month. Thank you very much.